Today, I'm going to tell you why I think life is like a car. And before you click off, just please stick around, and by the end of the video, I assure you it'll make sense to you. So, let's begin. We all go through life in different ways. Life is fun, life is amazing, life is full of things that make living so enjoyable. But to add to that, life is hard. Now, I can't speak for you watching this video, but I know on the other side of the screen, there is someone going through something. And I'm sure every single one of you has had to experience something in life that was a huge challenge mentally, physically, and emotionally. You might be asking yourself, yeah, of course, but what does this have anything to do with cars? Let me explain. So you have a car, right? And even if you don't, I'm sure this all makes sense. Cars were designed with convenience to people in mind, and they are a wonderful invention. But to go with cars, there's also cost involved and there's flaws involved. Cars need gas or batteries if you're a huge EV fan. Without it, they won't run. If you fill up the tank, you're only going so far until you have to fill it up again. That is life. When you're going through life, it can be so easy to let your tank run low or even empty. And even when your tank is low, you have enough fuel to just sit there and idle. And if your tank is empty, you can't even idle. Well, you can't even move. And you might be asking, well, if my tank is empty, how do I fill it up again? How am I supposed to get gas in it to be able to move again? Well, you have a couple of options. The first option is usually the one that comes first, and this option is you call a friend or a loved one. You call them to bring you a can full of fuel to get you up and moving again. In real life, this can be something so simple. I mean, just as simple as a simple message to check up on you and make sure you're doing okay. It could be a friend asking you to go out to that favorite place you love, that favorite thing you do, or that favorite hobby. It might be them calling you to go do that together. It could be motivation, someone that just sits there and listens as you talk and vent and do all the things. It could be the simplest things that fill up your tank to get you moving again, but that doesn't always happen. The second option is much harder. Second option is to walk to the nearest gas station and get that can yourself. The station, it might be a block away from where you're at, or it could be miles. What matters is it's you making the journey. For some, they may even make that long journey to the gas station only to find that the gas station is out of gas cans or they don't sell them. So they walk back and continue not to move, giving up on the car, losing the motivation that engine will ever run again. But you have to move in life. In the modern world, you have no choice but to be in constant momentum. This is where it gets really hard. After sitting there and not moving, the rust starts to build. The battery dies, the brakes get harder to release. But this is when the greatest reward is earned. You get in that car, you put it in neutral, and you begin to push. It's not easy, the car is heavy, it barely wants to move. And the worst part about it is there's a huge hill you have to go up. To get moving in life after you felt defeated for so long, you feel like life is never going to get easier, that this is never going to end. This is one of the most difficult situations throughout life. But just like our story with the car, once you reach that top of that hill, it does get easier. Because once you go up that hill that required so much effort, so much strength, so much motivation, you get to relax. And you get to let gravity charge the momentum of that car going down that hill. But there's more. Let's say if you never let your tank run out. You know you need fuel to keep moving, but that's all you know. You forget about the oil that wears down, the alignments that need to be done, the tires that go flat. Your car needs much more than fuel to just keep going. And just like in life, you need more than fuel to live a happy life. In life, if you keep going and going, just burning fuel, forgetting your other necessities, you will eventually break down. It's important to remember in life what makes you happy. It's so easy to get into a trance in life and just live day in and day out, almost like you're in a fog. The days, the weeks, the years, they all seem to just start blending together into this big jumbled mess, and it all becomes a foggy memory until one day you sit down and you ask, where did it all go? Your car can go a while with just putting in fuel. Longer than most people think. It'll even go a while without any warnings that it's about to break down. And when that engine starts to make noise because the oil has run out, some choose it's time to fix it, and others choose to turn the radio up, drowning it out and ignoring it. In life, people's radios can be any any way they decide to cope with the current issues they have. And this leads to limping along and forgetting the problems and forgetting your emotions. This will not work. If you ignore these problems, they're only going to get worse. The worse they get, the more problems that will start emerging. Because one problem may seem small and insignificant, but that problem is just a seed or a tree that has many, many branches. Let's say you have a car and you don't do your oil change on time. Your interval was for 5,000 miles and you're currently 8,000 miles over that interval. I know it's crazy, but it happens. In all cars, oil is extremely important, even more so in the modern cars. If your oil begins to break down, you begin to have pressure issues. You begin to have lubrication issues. Issues like these can cause your engine to start breaking down, VVT systems to stop working, bearings start to wear down. After a while, the engine begins to wear down. Timing chains get stretched over time, and eventually that timing chain's gonna break, ruining your engine. I want you to sit and think about your life and an issue you have ignored. And the longer that you ignored it, the more issues that began to arise from that problem. I know myself, I can name a handful. Now think if you would have taken care of that problem right away, or when you could have, or if you took a bit more action to solve that issue, what would have come from it? Would the end result, would it have been better for you or someone else involved? Even if you have the perfect car, well maintained, you always make sure your services are done on time. You'll eventually be driving down the road and you'll hit a pothole and you'll get a flat tire. Maybe you avoided the pothole only to keep driving down the road ahead and find out that there's a roadblock, forcing you to choose another route to your current destination. Life is the same way. Even people that seem to have it all together, their life seems like they're perfect, still run into roadblocks and they still hit that pothole. In life, there's going to be times that you're forced to take another direction or another route to your destination. There will be times you're pushing full speed to your goals, only to realize that there's a roadblock. Something unexpected gets in the way. It's up to you to figure out how you will get to your destination, the route you will take besides the route you thought to get to the end product or the end destination. Think back to that first day you got your license. For me, it was the day I turned 16. I got in my ratty Ford Ranger and I just drove. No destination, nothing. That feeling of freedom was one of the best feelings I could ever have felt as a young kid, and I'll never forget it. And I'm sure most of you watching this won't either. Now, this video is starting to seem a bit negative, but I promise you that's not my intent. My intent is to remind people to take care of themselves throughout this crazy journey that we call life. It can be hard, crazy, sad, stressful, happy, feeling like you're lost with no sense of direction. But just remember to take care of yourself just as you would your car, so it lives its longest, healthiest life. I appreciate you guys watching. This video was I know it's a lot different from everything else on my channel, but it was just something that I started thinking about, and I wanted to make this video in order, if there's someone out there struggling, that it would help them maybe realize that they're not alone in their problems, that a lot of people have issues. Sometimes when you're going through something, it could feel like you're the only one that has that issue, and that's not the case. Most people, they do run into problems, and even, like I said, people that seem like they live a perfect life, they still have issues as well. So if you're going through something, just know that you're not alone, and I hope this video helped you. And I'm no mental health professional, but I have gone through things myself, and I know probably everyone here has watched. So it's just something I thought about, and I thought maybe you guys would enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If I'm crazy, if I'm wrong, it's just something I thought up. I wrote a little something up for it, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you agree with it, comment. If you disagree, comment. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this video. I know it's a lot different, but it's just something I figured would be interesting to put out there. So thank you guys. Have a good one.